Hi all, making a quick video, mostly for my dad who is in the Netherlands right now. Hi Dad, enjoy the Keukenhof Gardens. It's spring, the bindweed is up and flourishing. I can't wait for the predatory mites that I ordered to come in. They're going to take care of this over a couple few years, but they'll come in and take care of it. All the trees are budding and blossoming. This is an apple. Which one is that? Liberty. Anyway, garlic is doing well. All the trees are budding out and flowering, so it looks like this may be our first year that we get a small fruit harvest off of a lot of these. The asparagus. The asparagus has come up. This one's past its prime now to pick, but yeah, here's another one. You really want to get them when they're relatively short, but these are still really thin, so I got about 4 spears, and then I'm letting the rest of them grow this year in order to get the plants a little stronger, and then I'm going to really start harvesting in earnest next year. Yeah. This is a new addition. It hasn't broken dormancy yet. This is a rose bush that's grown for the hips, for teas and stuff like that. This is one of the honeyberries. The honeyberries have survived, luckily. So I got 3 here. I've planted probably 5 or 6 in this area, and I'm down to 3, but at least these 3 are alive. Yeah, this guy, it's not happy. I don't know if this one's going to make it, but the other 2 are doing well, at least. We've been harvesting off the onions, and they just grow right back. Those are great for spring. Compost pile has been flipped. I showed you that last time. Garlic. This bed is considerably taller than that bed over there. Solid probably 4 inches or so taller leaves, 4 to 6. Really noticeable. Difference between the 2, they were treated exactly the same way, except this one was made year before last, and I made it by cutting down all of these comfrey plants and then burying all of the leaves and letting them decompose in place. Same thing for this one, but this was made last fall instead of the year before. So I think that what I'm hearing is, or what I'm getting is, I need to bury more comfrey over there. Could also be sun. There's better sun exposure in this patch right here. So depending on how this works, I may end up just extending this bed down this pathway up to about here, level with this beautiful cherry bush. And stretch it out and grow garlic along this pathway. That way I'll still be able to get a wheelbarrow into the compost pile, like down the side over there. Strawberries are starting to come up. They're flowering. A couple of small immature fruits are starting. So got some strawberries, but you know, I've planted out this whole patch with strawberries so many times, and I'm down to probably 15 plants or so, and most of them aren't particularly healthy. This just isn't working for strawberries, so I'm going to move them this year. Garden bed. 2 rows of little bitty onions down the outside here. These cages were put in place for where the tomatoes are going to be. Tomatoes and then tomatillos on the outside of either side. And then on the inside of this patch, it hasn't sprouted yet because I only planted yesterday, but planted beets all inside and in between the tomatoes and stuff, so we should have a big beet crop. Arugula, spinach, icicle radishes, so white radishes. Not really coming up yet. I see a couple tiny ones poking through, but this is a couple different kinds of lettuce. This is Igloo and Lumix lettuce, and little bits are poking up. Same thing here, little bits are poking up. This is Red Deer's Tongue and Four Seasons. And then back here is the kale. And the kale is coming up somewhat. That's not kale, that's bindweed. Kale over there, and bindweed. Over there is more kale. That's the big forage crop kale that's supposed to get really tall, like it's supposed to get huge. And don't know how good it's going to taste. Oh, all of the currants are up and pumping. Yeah, got little flowers on my josta berry. This is my most reliable producing plant every year, is this Josta berry. And then this one I want to say is a Red Lake currant. I can't remember for sure, but this one's got a lot of flowers on it and some dandelions in the corner. But so the currants are coming back and looking good. This is just, I chucked something there thinking it would decompose and it didn't, it rooted. But so that was an onion from last year or the year before. And then lovage. I was not sure that this was going to grow back, but it's grown back. This is supposed to be perennial in this area, and it looks like it's coming along okay. Tastes a whole lot like celery. And it's Mediterranean. So from this side, here's the 1,000 head kale patch. Whole lot of bindweed in here. This was an area that I didn't weed well last year, and so now it's covered in bindweed. One of my blueberry plants has finally survived after years and years of trying to fight through it on that one. I finally have a blueberry plant that's not completely dead. I've probably planted 4 or 5 blueberries in this area too, at least over the years. And I've finally got one that made it through one winter. The raspberries are notice all of the bindweed and weeds in the bed. I need to weed this out too. But the raspberries are starting to come back. The blackberries barely have. There are tiny little shoots down here at the bottom. These canes up here, some of them may come back. I'm not anticipating all of those canes survive the winter, but I think some might have. And then the trellises. We've got little peas in between the bindweed, but peas, bindweed, peas and bindweed, and peas and bindweed. And more bindweed. I have 3 different kinds of peas planted here. There's Sugar Daddy, Sugar Magnolia, and Cascadia Snap. But all snap peas. The Sugar Magnolia is a purple snap pea, so I'm curious to see how that works. But it was really expensive for the seed pack, and they're kind of hard to find. So if I don't like it a whole lot, I'm not going to look for it again. And then this patch is in here is mesclun lettuce mix, so a leaf lettuce mix. Looks like all that's coming up there right now is bindweed too. Oh, there are little bits and pieces of lettuce popping up there, but it's mostly bindweed. And then here is champion radish, so a bigger red radish. And then in here, these are all from start. I tried to throw out my old seeds for different kinds of spring greens. I haven't seen anything like that come up yet. But this is broccoli, tatsoi, and then onions spaced in between them to use the bed once the broccoli and tatsoi kind of dies off relatively early in summer. So my idea was let those things get big and then pull them out, and there will be room for the onions to grow, and they may be a little slower than those ones over there in order to fully mature. But I'm okay with that because I planted probably 200 to 300 onions. So I got plenty of onions. And I don't care if they're a little slower. That'll just extend the harvest season for me because I like to use them fresh. Mostly because I haven't figured out how to properly store them. Got a new mint plant. This is mojito mint, I think is what they call it, but it's supposed to be a lot milder. Before I had the spearmint, which is a really strong flavor, so I'm trying out the mild one this time. And then this is a catnip planter, and I'm waiting for it to get bigger before it goes into Reggie's little kitty kennel over here on the deck. And I'm just going to have a catnip planter sitting on the deck under his little kitty kennel. So that's what I got back here. It's starting to look like spring. Have a good one, y'all.